Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling utterly bewildered, questioning your own memoir? Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling utterly bewildered, questioning your own memories, or wondering if you've somehow become the villain in a story you don't recognize? Perhaps you found yourself apologizing profusely for something you're not even sure you did, or constantly striving to meet an ever-changing standard set by someone else. If so, you've likely encountered the insidious art of emotional manipulation. It's a subtle dance, often performed in the shadows of close relationships, where one person skillfully pulls the strings of another's emotions, thoughts, and actions, all for their own gain. This isn't about healthy disagreement or constructive criticism. It's about a deliberate erosion of your sense of self, your confidence, and your grasp on reality. Today, we delve deep into the psychological battlefield of manipulation, uncovering 12 critical signs that someone might be subtly, or not so subtly, controlling you. More importantly, we'll explore the psychology behind these tactics and arm you with the knowledge to respond effectively, reclaiming your autonomy and protecting your mental well-being. Our journey begins with the first, and perhaps most disorienting, sign. ***1. Gaslighting, making you question your reality. Imagine this scenario. You distinctly remember a conversation where your partner agreed to pick up groceries. Later, when the fridge is bare, you gently remind them, only to be met with a blank stare and a firm, "I never said that. You must be imagining things." You might even be shown a text message that, upon closer inspection, seems to contradict your memory. This is gaslighting, a manipulation tactic so potent it can make you doubt your own sanity. The term itself originates from the 1938 play and subsequent film Gaslight***, where a husband subtly manipulates his wife into believing she is going insane by dimming the gaslights in their home and then denying any change. In real life, gaslighting involves a manipulator persistently denying events, distorting facts, or making you question your memories, perceptions, and even your sanity. 1. The psychology behind gaslighting is deeply unsettling. As humans, we have a fundamental need for certainty and often rely on external validation to confirm our experiences. When a manipulator systematically undermines your reality, they exploit this need, gaining control over your sense of truth. This can lead to profound self-doubt, confusion, and the phenomenon known as cognitive dissonance, where your internal experience clashes with the external narrative being forced upon you. You might hear phrases like, "You're overreacting," "You're too sensitive," or "That never happened," even when you have clear recollections. The goal is to destabilize you, making you more dependent on the manipulator's version of reality. 4. To respond to gaslighting, the most crucial step is ***, reality anchoring ***. This means trusting your intuition and holding firm to your own experiences. Internally, you can tell yourself, "I know what I experienced," even if this person has a different perception. Documenting instances of gaslighting, perhaps in a private journal, can also provide concrete evidence to counter their denials. Most importantly, seek outside perspectives from trusted friends or family who can validate your experiences and help you distinguish between reality and manipulation. ***2. Love bombing, overwhelming affection with strings attached. Have you ever met someone who seemed almost too good to be true? Someone who showered you with extravagant compliments, expensive gifts, and declarations of undying love within days or weeks of meeting. This intense, whirlwind romance might feel exhilarating, like you finally found your soulmate. But beware, this could be love bombing, an insidious manipulation tactic where a person overwhelms you with excessive affection and attention to rapidly create emotional dependency. 4. The psychological impact of love bombing is powerful. It taps into our deep-seated desire for unconditional love and acceptance, making us feel uniquely special and cherished. This intense positive reinforcement creates a strong emotional bond, making the target highly susceptible to the manipulator's influence. When the initial love bombing phase inevitably recedes, the target is left craving that intense affection, often leading them to comply with the manipulator's demands or tolerate their negative behaviors in hopes of rekindling the initial euphoria. The strings attached to this overwhelming affection become apparent when the manipulator begins to withdraw their attention or make demands, knowing you're now emotionally invested. 1. To counter love bombing, it's essential to maintain a healthy skepticism. Observe the consistency between their words and actions over time. Healthy relationships develop gradually, building trust and intimacy organically. If someone is rushing the relationship or making grand gestures that feel disproportionate to the time you've known him, it's a red flag. Establish clear boundaries and seek the perspectives of trusted friends or family. Their objective viewpoints can help you discern genuine affection from manipulative tactics. ***3. Playing the victim, deflecting responsibility. Consider a situation where you confront someone about their hurtful behavior, only for them to turn the tables, portraying themselves as the one who is suffering. They might say, "Look what you made me do," or "You're stressing me out with your demands." This is playing the victim, a tactic where the manipulator avoids accountability for their actions by presenting themselves as the hurt or wronged party, shifting blame onto you. 4. Psychologically, this tactic is a masterclass in deflection. It appeals to your empathy and your natural inclination to help those in distress. By eliciting sympathy, the manipulator skillfully diverts attention from their own harmful behavior and makes you feel guilty for even confronting them. This often stems from a deep-seated inability to face personal flaws or consequences, leading them to externalize blame. The true victim in this scenario often ends up apologizing for bringing attention to the manipulator's bad behavior, further empowering the manipulator. 4. When faced with someone playing the victim, it's crucial not to engage in the blame game. State facts calmly and refuse to apologize for their feelings. You can use "I" statements to express your feelings without accusing, such as, "I feel hurt when you speak to me that way." Redirect the conversation back to their specific behavior and its impact, rather than getting caught in their narrative of suffering. Remember, their inability to take responsibility is not your burden to bear. ***4. Guilt tripping, using your conscience against you. Have you ever heard phrases like, "After everything I've done for you, how could you say no?" Or, "If you really cared, you would." These are classic examples of guilt tripping, a manipulation tactic that uses guilt and shame to coerce you into doing what the manipulator wants. They often imply that you are selfish or ungrateful if you don't comply with their wishes. 1. The psychology behind guilt tripping is rooted in exploiting your sense of moral obligation and your desire to be a good person. Manipulators weaponize your empathy, making you feel responsible for their emotional state or well-being. This can create a vicious cycle where you constantly try to appease the manipulator to avoid feeling guilty, sacrificing your own needs and boundaries in the process. The manipulator leverages your conscience against you, knowing that most people will go to great lengths to avoid feeling like a bad person. 4. To respond effectively, recognize that their guilt is not your responsibility. You are not obligated to sacrifice your well-being to alleviate their manufactured distress. Set firm boundaries and refuse to be swayed by emotional blackmail. State your position clearly and calmly without feeling the need to justify it. For example, I understand you're disappointed, but I'm not able to do that. Your worth is not determined by your ability to meet every demand of a manipulator. ***5. Triangulation, creating competition and insecurity. Imagine a situation where you're having a disagreement with someone, and suddenly they bring up a third party, saying, "So and so agrees with me that you're being unreasonable," or "My ex never treated me this way." This is triangulation, a manipulation tactic where a third party is introduced into a disagreement or relationship to create tension, division, or to validate the manipulator's own position. 1. Psychologically, triangulation is designed to undermine trust and create insecurity. By involving a third party, the manipulator avoids direct confrontation and manipulates perceptions, making you feel isolated or in competition for their favor. It can also be a way for them to gather information about you from others or to spread rumors, further isolating you from your support system. The manipulator positions themselves as the central authority, controlling the narrative and making you doubt your own judgment. 4. To counter triangulation, refuse to engage in discussions about others. Communicate directly with the person involved in the original disagreement and avoid taking sides in manufactured conflicts. Recognize that the manipulator is attempting to divide and conquer. You can state, "I prefer to discuss this directly with you, without involving others." Maintaining open and direct communication with all parties, where appropriate, can dismantle the manipulator's strategy. ***6. The silent treatment, weaponizing withdrawal. Have you ever experienced someone suddenly ignoring your calls, texts, or even your presence after a disagreement? This deliberate refusal to communicate, often accompanied by cold stares or withdrawal of affection, is known as the silent treatment. It's a passive-aggressive form of punishment and control. 4. The psychological impact of the silent treatment is profound. It creates immense anxiety and a desperate need for resolution in the target. By withholding communication and affection, the manipulator makes you feel responsible for their emotional state, forcing you to seek reconciliation, often by conceding to their demands. It strips you of your voice and power, leaving you feeling helpless and confused. The unpredictability of when the silence will end, or what it will take to end it, keeps you in a state of emotional limbo, making you more compliant in the future. 1. To respond to the silent treatment, it's crucial not to chase the manipulator or beg for their attention. State your willingness to communicate when they are ready to do so respectfully. For example, "I'm ready to talk when you are. Let me know when you'd like to discuss this." Then, focus on self-care and maintaining your emotional well-being. Set a clear boundary that you will not engage until they are ready to communicate constructively. This approach protects your emotional energy and prevents the manipulator from using silence as a weapon against you. Remember, healthy communication involves open dialogue, not punitive withdrawal. ***7. Passive aggression, hidden hostility. Have you ever been on the receiving end of a backhanded compliment, a sarcastic remark disguised as humor, or a deliberate act of inefficiency that leaves you feeling frustrated and confused? This is passive aggression, a subtle yet potent manipulation tactic where individuals express negative feelings indirectly, rather than through direct confrontation. 4. The psychology behind passive aggression is fascinating. It allows the manipulator to express hostility and exert control while simultaneously avoiding accountability. They can maintain a facade of niceness, making it difficult for you to pinpoint the source of your discomfort. This indirectness creates confusion and frustration, as you sense something is wrong but cannot quite articulate it. You might find yourself constantly trying to decipher their true intentions, leading to self-doubt and a feeling of being irrational. Examples include saying, "Nice of you to finally show up," with a sneer, deliberately doing a task incorrectly, or agreeing to something then subtly sabotaging it. 4. To respond to passive aggression, it's crucial to address the behavior directly and calmly, focusing on the actions rather than the perceived intent. You might say, "I notice you said, 'Nice of you to finally show up,' with a sarcastic tone. Is there something you'd like to discuss directly?" Refuse to engage in their indirect communication style. By calling out the behavior, you force them to either communicate openly or reveal their manipulative intent. Remember, healthy communication is direct and honest, not shrouded in veiled hostility. ***8. Moving the goalposts, constantly changing expectations. Imagine working tirelessly to meet a deadline, only to have new, unforeseen requirements suddenly added at the last minute. Or perhaps you finally achieve a personal goal, and instead of celebration, the standards are immediately raised, making your accomplishment feel inadequate. This is the manipulation tactic of moving the goalposts, where the manipulator sets unrealistic or constantly shifting expectations, ensuring you can never fully meet their demands and are always left feeling inadequate. 4. The psychological impact of this tactic is a perpetual state of striving and failure. It keeps you off balance, constantly chasing an elusive target, and ultimately dependent on the manipulator's approval. Your self-esteem erodes as you repeatedly fall short of their ever-changing demands. The manipulator maintains power by controlling the rules of engagement, ensuring they always have the upper hand. You might hear phrases like, "I know you said you couldn't be here until 5 p.m., but I really need you here by 3 p.m., or, "If you actually cared about me, you see me every day, not just when you feel up to it." 4. To respond effectively, you must recognize this pattern and refuse to play the game. Clearly state what was originally agreed upon and stick to it. Communicate that you will not engage with constantly shifting demands. A firm but calm response like, "That's different from what we originally agreed to. I'm sticking with our first plan," can be powerful. This tactic is designed to exhaust you into submission, so protecting your boundaries and adhering to initial agreements is paramount. ***9. Projection, blaming you for their behavior. Have you ever been accused of a fault or flaw that you know isn't true, but it perfectly describes the person making the accusation? This is projection, a defense mechanism that manipulators weaponize. It's a tactic where they attribute their own undesirable traits, feelings, or actions to you, avoiding responsibility and making you feel guilty. 4. Psychologically, projection is a way for individuals to unconsciously deflect their own unacceptable thoughts or impulses onto another person. In the context of manipulation, it often becomes a conscious tactic to shift blame and maintain a facade of innocence. By accusing you of their shortcomings, they divert attention from their own behavior and make you internalize their flaws. For instance, a person who is constantly late might accuse you of being unpunctual, or someone who is dishonest might accuse you of lying. You might hear, "See what you did. I'd never act like this if you just listened to me," or, "You're always nagging me, and now I'm the bad guy for getting upset." 4. To counter projection, it's vital not to accept the distorted reality. State clearly that their behavior is their own responsibility. A calm response such as, "I understand you're upset, but your actions are your own, and I am not responsible for them," can be effective. Do not get drawn into defending yourself against false accusations. By refusing to internalize their projections, you deny them the power to shift blame and manipulate your perception of yourself. ***10. Isolation, Cutting you off from support. One of the most insidious and effective tools in a manipulator's arsenal is isolation. This tactic involves the manipulator subtly or overtly trying to separate you from your friends, family, and other crucial support systems. 4. The psychology behind isolation is chillingly effective. It aims to make you solely dependent on the manipulator, thereby increasing their control over you. By removing external perspectives and emotional support, the manipulator becomes your sole source of validation, information, and emotional sustenance. This makes it incredibly difficult for you to recognize or resist the manipulation, as you lack objective viewpoints to counter their narrative. You might hear them criticize your friends or family, make you feel guilty for spending time with others, or create scenarios where you have to choose between them and your loved ones. Phrases like, "Your friends take too much of your time," "Wouldn't you rather be with me?" or the chilling, "No one will believe you," are common. 4. To protect yourself from isolation, actively maintain and strengthen your connections with trusted friends and family. Seek outside perspectives regularly. A healthy relationship encourages, rather than discourages, external support. If someone is consistently trying to drive a wedge between you and your loved ones, it is a significant red flag that their intentions are not genuinely loving but controlling. Prioritize your existing support network, as it is your shield against their manipulative tactics. *** 11. Intermittent reinforcement, the push-pull pattern. Have you ever been in a relationship where one moment you're showered with affection and praise, and the next you're met with coldness, criticism, or outright withdrawal? This confusing and unpredictable pattern is known as intermittent reinforcement, a powerful manipulation tactic where the manipulator alternates between periods of intense affection and coldness, or rewards and punishments. 4. The psychology of intermittent reinforcement is deeply rooted in behavioral science. It creates confusion and a desperate desire for the return of the manipulator's affection. The unpredictability of when the positive reinforcement will occur keeps you hooked, constantly striving to earn their approval and attention. This makes you more compliant, as you become conditioned to seek out the positive moments and avoid the negative ones. Examples include shutting down when you mess up, until you make it up to them, acting especially loving then suddenly becoming cold, or giving praise only after a period of criticism. 4. To navigate intermittent reinforcement, recognize the pattern of inconsistency. Understand that their affection is conditional and used as a tool for control, not a genuine expression of care. Focus on your own emotional stability and seek consistent, healthy relationships where affection is freely given, not strategically withheld. This tactic is designed to keep you in a constant state of emotional uncertainty, making you easier to control. By recognizing it, you can begin to detach from the cycle and prioritize your own well-being. ** 12. Emotional blackmail, threatening consequences. Imagine being told, "If you don't do this, I'll tell everyone your secret," or "You'll regret it if you don't agree to this." These are direct forms of emotional blackmail, a manipulation tactic where the manipulator uses overt or covert threats to get you to comply with their demands. They play on your fears, obligations, or guilt to force your hand. 4. The psychology behind emotional blackmail is a direct assault on your autonomy. It exploits your emotional vulnerabilities and fears of loss, abandonment, or punishment. This creates a sense of urgency and duress, forcing you to make decisions that you might not otherwise make. The manipulator knows your weaknesses and uses them as leverage, turning your deepest fears into weapons against you. This tactic is designed to strip you of your free will, leaving you feeling trapped and powerless. 1. To respond to emotional blackmail, it is crucial not to give in to the threats. If you feel safe to do so, you can call their bluff, but always prioritize your safety and well-being. Seek immediate support from trusted individuals, friends, family, or professionals. These threats are designed to control you through fear, and by refusing to comply, you reclaim your power. Remember, no one has the right to threaten or coerce you into doing something against your will. Your safety and autonomy are paramount. In conclusion, recognizing the subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, signs of manipulation is the first crucial step toward protecting your mental and emotional well-being. From the disorienting fog of gaslighting to the suffocating embrace of love bombing, and from the blame shifting of playing the victim to the coercive grip of emotional blackmail, these tactics are all designed to achieve one thing: control. They are not expressions of genuine connection, love, or respect, but rather calculated maneuvers to serve the manipulator's own agenda. Trust your intuition. That nagging feeling that something isn't quite right is often your inner compass guiding you away from harm. Prioritize your emotional well-being, set firm boundaries, and never be afraid to seek support from those who genuinely care about you. Reclaiming your personal power means understanding that you deserve relationships built on honesty, respect, and mutual understanding, not on the shifting sands of manipulation. By arming yourself with this knowledge, you can navigate the complexities of human interaction with greater clarity, fostering authentic connections and safeguarding your sense of self. Remember, your reality, your feelings, and your autonomy are invaluable, and they are yours to protect. References: 1. Bay Area CBT Center, Top 10 Manipulation Tactics and How to Counter Them. https://bayareacbtcenter.com/top 10 manipulation tactics and how to counter them. 2. Choosing Therapy, 17 manipulation tactics abusers use. https://www.choosingtherapy.com/manipulation tactics. 3. Psychology Today, 20 Signs of Emotional Manipulation. https://www.psychologytoday.com/a/blog/a funny bone to pick 202,406 20th Signs of Emotional Manipulation. 4. ThriveWorks, 11 Emotional Manipulation Tactics, and How to Respond. https://thriveworks.com/help with relationships, emotional manipulation tactics.